Hi there. Here's what we're going to do today. I was going to show you a bit of my life. I do more in life than just study Korean or study languages. Hockey 3 times a week is something I very much enjoy, and I typically drop by the office in the afternoon. I'm basically semi-retired, but I have an office where we have our wood business and where we have Link, and I like to drop by there in the afternoon or come back here and do some work or study or keep up to date with my various and sundry, the forum at Link and Facebook and answering my YouTube people who post comments and stuff like that. So very quickly, I'm going to show you my morning. And then I'm going to come back again, and I'm doing that just so you don't always just look at me here. So you see a little bit of my day, then I can come back and I'm going to answer a question that I received from one of my viewers and a Link member, and that is like, how can you get to a stage where you can have a meaningful conversation in 6 months? Because she's from Novi Sad in Serbia, and there's going to be a polyglot conference there in October, and she wants to become a true polyglot. So more about that later, but first I'll show you a bit of my day. So today is hockey day, so I went to pick up one of our members whose car is in the garage and couldn't make it, and he's just gonna come out the door here. Morning, Ross. You're gonna be on my YouTube channel. All right, so I'm gonna make you guys famous. You're gonna be on my YouTube channel. Here we are, we're the gold team. We're playing the Blues today.
You want some skin?
You want some skin? No, we don't want skin. Depends whose. Now, Gordy is our goaltender, known as Six Pack.
Turned into an overnight trunk.
And you're our captain, right, John?
A couple of those hitchhikers you picked up.
Pardon?
You bring them in? A couple of those hitchhikers you picked up.
I wish there were more of them.
They're waiting outside.
Right. So why don't you guys learn languages? This is all for language. You know, I'm studying Korean right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Should I just stop this and get dressed so we can play hockey?
Korean girlfriend, or what's the deal?
That's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm working towards.
I realize it hasn't helped you at all, Steve, so we combine the language.
Okay. And this is where the rink is. It's in North Vancouver. It's called the Canlan Ice Sports. There's some of our members driving away. And normally I walk into the arena like this, except I've already put my stuff away in the car. And I'll give you a bit of a shot from the inside as well. So as you walk in here, the doors open automatically, and there are a total of 3 rinks. And now they've shut down. We just finished playing our game here, and it's 12:35. I'm going to go out for lunch. And there's some little kids here. But there seems to be no activity. Quite often there is. And what else have we got here? You know, we've even got, there are 2 defibrillators, and I'm one of the people trained to use them. I hope I never have to use one. And there you have it. This is where I play 3 times a week. Just to continue with a day in the life of a Korean language learner, I finished my hockey, and now I am coming here to where I went on the very first day, which is Sushi Town. And it's right by McDonald's. I think you can see it there. And I'm going to walk in the door, and if I'm lucky, I'll find that same waitress, and hopefully she'll think that I have improved. Claire, 안녕하세요, Claire 씨. 네, 지금 제가 3주일 열심히 공부하고 조금 향상했어요. 네.
좋아요.
조금.
상상했어요.
오케이. 감사합니다. 아주 맛있습니다. 네, 계산서 주세요.
알겠습니다.
Okay, 감사합니다. So this is an answer to Nina Jolic, I think it's pronounced, in Novi Sad. We have had conversations in French and in English. If I ever learn Serbian, which I hope I will do, then I will speak to her in Serbian at Link. And she said there's a polyglot conference in Novi Sad in October, and she wants to become a true polyglot. How does one get to a level where one can have a meaningful conversation in a language in just 6 months? All right. First of all, there are these polyglot conferences. There was one in Hungary. I couldn't go there because I was in Vienna a few weeks earlier and I wasn't just going to hang around. There's apparently one in Berlin. There's talk about one in Montreal. And now there's talk about this one in Novi Sad. As I understand it, largely this is for people who speak 4, 5, 6, 7 languages. They get together and, you know, it's like, I don't know, a curling bonspiel or a hockey tournament. People do what they like to do. They meet up, they talk in the different languages that they share, and it's a great social event. And contacts are made, and it stimulates people, like, for example, Nina here, to improve their languages. So it's extremely positive. It doesn't really seem to be aimed at the person who has one language and has been forever trying to learn another language. And I think that is the vast majority of people who are language learners or could be language learners or would like to be language learners. And I wish there was some way we could get those people to realize that the most important thing about these polyglot conferences is that there are so many people who speak 5, 6, or 7 languages, and that doing that is not such an extraordinary thing. It's just a matter of interest, applying yourself, and sticking with it. So that's just by way of background. Now, and also before I answer Nina's question, a very quick comment about when I went to the Korean, or at least the sushi restaurant run by Koreans, and I had a brief exchange with my friend, the waitress Claire. She was very busy. I don't like to just sit there and film people when they're busy serving tables and stuff like that. But on 2 occasions she came over just to humor me, and she kind of threw some Korean at me. The first time she said something like, you know, do you need anything more? And something about 필요합니까 or something. I wasn't expecting it. I said, repeat that. And then I said, no, 필요 없어요. I don't need anything. And then later she came by and said, 밖에 춥죠? 밖에 춥죠. I said, what? 밖에 춥죠? It's, again, words that I know, but it is it cold outside? And I wasn't expecting it. So one thing about being able to respond to conversations and stuff like that is that it's not just the language. We also have to have context. We have to almost be able to anticipate what people are going to say. It takes a lot of practice. So in order to be comfortable in conversations, you have to have a lot of exposure. A lot of exposure, not only in the sort of form of input, reading and listening and building up your vocabulary, but actual practical experience of speaking to people in a variety of situations, so that the next time someone says to me, 밖에 춥죠? Is it cold outside? I'll be expecting that kind of question. I'll be expecting those words. I'll be able to respond. So all of that by way of saying, as you know, I believe that in order to have a meaningful conversation, you need lots of vocabulary, because you can't expect the other person to dumb down their conversation to whatever limited range of vocabulary you have. You have to have a very large passive vocabulary, and then you have your more limited active vocabulary that you can kind of use to kind of work around, twist to what you're trying to say and make the odd mistake, and it doesn't matter. But if you don't understand what they're saying, then you can't even get started in a meaningful conversation. And to understand what they're saying, you A, need a large vocabulary, and B, you need experience. So my strategy would be, if it's 6 months from now, I would spend the better part of 3 months fundamentally on input. And I would get as much of the language in me as possible. If you have the patience to do what Luca does, where you translate from the target language into your own language and then translate back into the target language. I've never done that, and I'm not disciplined enough to do it. I'm not writing an exam, but I can imagine that it works well. And certainly Luca is a perfect example of someone who learns languages very well and very quickly. So you might want to try that because it works for Luca if you enjoy doing it. So very heavy to input for the first 3 months at least. A system like LingQ, but listening and reading to the same content, some way of reviewing vocabulary. I like to tag phrases and words so that I notice them again when I listen and read. Then after about 3 months, you're going to have to start speaking and speak to a variety of people. If you can't, go to the country, like if you're learning Hungarian, you just go next door from Novi Sad. So that's practical, or Romania. On the other hand,
if you're learning Japanese, you can't just go there for whatever period of time. So you have to try and build up your contacts via Skype. It's not as good. There's no way it's as good. But the last 3 months, I would gradually step up my speaking. I would speak maybe 3 times a week for the month 4. And then I would speak every day for month 5 and even step it up more than that for month 6. So during that 6-month period, the first 3 months is to become familiar with the language, build up a base vocabulary, have some opportunity of understanding what people are saying. Because you don't want to spend the first 3 months, like if you spend an hour talking to someone and all you can ask them about is the weather and how old you are, to me that's a waste of time. You're better off to spend that hour listening and reading or reviewing vocabulary. But when you get to a certain level now that you can have a more challenging conversation where you actually try to express some thoughts, okay, then you can start stepping up your speaking and put yourself into different situations, have a variety of people that you speak to. Make sure that there's sound, if you're going on Skype, that the sound quality is good, that they're interesting people, that you're not just putting in the time, straining to understand because the crackling of the internet makes the sound unintelligible, or because the person is not very interesting to talk to. So get good partners. Or if you're lucky enough, go to the country for 2-3 weeks. And if you were to do that, like I would love to go to Korea for 2-3 weeks at the end of my 3 months challenge here. Whether I'll be able to justify flying all the way to Korea just to do that remains to be seen. So there you have it. That's what I would do in order to get to where I could have meaningful conversations within a 6-month time frame. Thanks for listening.